What's up, everyone? It's another episode of this podcast. It's called Is This What You Want? And I'm one of the hosts. My name happens to be Matt O'Brien, which is the same as the name of the guy that's also part of this podcast. That's why it's the same, because we're the same person. Across from me is the same person as the other person that's advertised on this podcast, and her name happens to be
Julia Ladkowitz.
You're damn right. We're back with another hell of an episode. I don't know, light, fancy free.
It's gonna be great. I'm excited.
If you're washing your car, if you're grocery shopping, if you're walking 10 to 12 minutes,
if you're folding your laundry, perhaps.
Yeah,
it's just something nice to have on in the background.
This might be the one for you.
So you don't feel so alone in your sad little life.
Yeah, we'll talk about our week, and you can mentally talk about your week, or you can pause the show and talk about your week out loud to yourself and act like we're there.
Yeah.
I think that's the ideal way to listen to this podcast. I go, oh, I had a weird week. And then you pause it and you go, I had a weird week too, Matt.
And then I go, my butt's itchy. And you're like, yeah, I guess mine's itchy too.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, it's Chappy hour.
How many times a day do you think your butt itches?
I don't know. It was quite itchy the other day, and I don't know why. I don't know if some like detergent got lodged in my undies or something, but
we're talking butt crack, like right in the crack itchy, or like butt cheek itchy?
No, like the cheek. It was like, and I had just painted my nails, and so I couldn't scratch it. So I was like, Matt, can you scratch my ass for me? And then you scratched it, but it like somehow like ignited the itch.
Yeah.
And then you took the dog out, and then you came in, and I was just rubbing against the couch like Baloo the bear.
Yeah. It's the bare necessities.
Yeah.
The simple bare necessities of life.
I was bare necessitating my full ass.
He does rub his ass on a tree, doesn't he?
Yeah, he like rips a whole tree like out of the ground and then
With
like rubs his
cheeks?
whole body. Yeah.
Yo, dad ass though.
Dad ass though, so
on
strong.
That sweet bare ass.
Yo, clenching that tree.
It's weird that we say bare ass as in bare naked, but then also like
Bare
a
ass.
bare ass. English is a hell of a language.
It really is.
Anyone trying to learn it right now? I sympathize.
Yeah, I mean,
Bare and bare.
just stop. Just speak whatever language you're speaking, and that's that.
I know. You think it'd be tough to create your own language these days? Like, well, here's the thing: is they're doing it in movies all the time. There's full Klingon from Star Trek, and they had to create that.
Yeah,
and you
and
can
then-
speak it.
Yeah, you can take like a Klingon course.
Yeah. So who's to say we don't create our own? I mean, that would just make things way more complicated and difficult for us. But
Why do you want to start your own language, though?
I don't want to. I'm just wondering how long it would take. It would take a lifetime, I think.
I think so,
I think
yeah.
you'd be like, I devoted my life to Chunglish. That's my language. Chunglish.
And also, it's like, it's all well and good to make up your own words, but then it's like when those words are conjugated in a certain way, or if you're using it in a sense, like it's all too much. I barely speak English good, so me stick to that.
Yeah, me no good at that. You know what the key to having a good made up language is? Having your swear words sound cool.
Yeah.
That'll get people. If you're advertising this language, you're like, well, you know how you say fuck in our language? Zippo.
That's not that fun. I was going to say like hard fart or something.
You know how you say fuck in our language? Hard fart. You say hard fart. How do you say hard fart? Zippo.
And I took a Zippo. Hard fart, it stinks.
I think zip. Zip off. Zip you. Go zip yourself. Go zip yourself up.
Yeah.
Unzip yourself and zip it up.
Ew,
I think
fart.
I could be on something. Listener, if you're out there and you're choking on your own zip over there, your throat sounds a little bit zipped up.
My throat's not zipped up. I just inhaled some sort of dust bunny.
Yeah, because the air quality's been terrible in LA lately.
Very bad air quality.
Yeah.
There was an air quality warning, and the dog had to take a hot piss in the middle of the night last 2 nights ago at like 4 a.m. So Matt took her out, and you're like, it was like smoky and foggy.
Yeah, I have this alert on my phone. It's the AQI, which I assume stands for Air Quality Index. And I rarely see it in the triple digits. And I remember waking up the other morning and it was like 156. And I'm like, well, that can't be good. And then apparently it was like the one below, like, you should not go outside or breathe. The warnings were, don't exert yourself outside, which is basically what they're saying is like, don't breathe too much of this air in.
Yeah, which is like, don't run and stuff like that.
Yeah, but it's a bit of a dystopian warning when they're like, this air, you can breathe it, just not too much.
It's not too hard.
Not too hard.
Don't go crazy.
Don't go crazy with this air.
Just have a little zip of air.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, should we move somewhere else with just at least air? If you're not getting air, the water's already bad here. The
Yeah.
water's hard as fuck.
Well, I remember when like oxygen bars became all the rage and people were projecting they'd take off like bottled water did. And they haven't quite yet because maybe it was ahead of its time. But
I only see them in Vegas.
yeah.
And it just weirds me out that you got to put it up your nose, like the thing up your nose.
Yeah. And for me, it was, I think I was a bit congested that day. And then I accidentally breathed out of my mouth for a second. And then it like really fucked me up. It's strange.
Yeah. What does it do? Wake you up? Does it cure your hangover?
It's supposed to cure your hangover and help with like jet lag and all sorts of things. But
I should try it once.
I remember feeling weird about it.
I like a cold water plunge over anything. That cures all what ails me. I'll tell you that much. Even a cold shower. Ooh, get zipped out.
Well, I used to be doing. Yeah, that makes sense.
I used to have done this.
I done did. I did a cold. I would do a cold rinse at the end of all my showers, just like a really cold rinse. But now because it's been so dog-dick cold,
Yeah.
and the air is so cold when I like get out of the shower, I'm like, you know what? That's my cold rinse.
Yeah. It's too cold. It's too cold for plunging and rinsing. It has been unseasonably cool. I understand that it's absolutely freezing in the rest of the entire continent.
But you have the heat blasting. If you live in friggin' like Idaho or you're in like,
Chicago.
Montreal right now, your house is warm. Like our house is not ever warm.
Here's the thing with that. When the rest of the country's blizzarding, I kind of treat like it's blizzarding here. I'm like, I'll just stay inside because, out of solidarity.
I've been bipping and bopping. I've been doing the opposite of that, but I have been making a lot of like soups and like yummy warming things.
Yeah, that's nice. I am going to Vancouver tomorrow, and it's the first like time it's ever snowed this much there ever. Apparently,
yeah, it's really
Sucks.
snowy and it's like freezing rain and
it's going to be a hell of a time. We'll see how tomorrow morning goes.
Good.
But I mean, that's the best part about going to Vancouver from LA is it's not that long. It's a 3-hour flight.
Yeah, but
If
you're
it's
like,
delayed, who cares?
but you're like, oh great, it's I'm going to Vancouver. It's usually not too cold there, and guess what, sister?
Sister, it is cold. Winter boot. I got to bring out my boots. Damn
I wonder
it.
what it's going to be like in Seattle when I go the following week.
I mean,
did they get because that's like
could be crispy.
Vancouver adjacent.
It is Vancouver. It's the Vancouver of the United States, as they call it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I don't like about...
What's that, Matt?
I see this with a lot of comedians down here. American comedians, they'll perform in Canada, and they'll make a little poster, and it's always the hackiest Canadian shit. It's like them pouring maple syrup on a stack of pancakes. They're like, can you believe I'm performing in Toronto? I'm like, first of all...
Or
it's not
they're
like the
in,
syrup capital of Canada.
or they're in
anyway.
Vancouver and they're like, I'm eating poutine. I'm like, first of all, Vancouver is not really known for their poutine. There's some specific things in,
Yeah.
it's like I don't go to I'm not like, I'm going to America. Time to bring my gun and my fried chicken and my fucking, I don't know, what else is America?
That's pretty much it. Boot spurs. Time to get my chicken and boot spurs.
Time to ride my fried chicken before I shoot it.
Shoot it with, and then I keep
Shoot it with my gun made of mayonnaise and ranch.
That's Texas for you. Do you think you could cut a slice of pizza with a boot spur? Is
Yes.
that a thing?
Absolutely.
Has there been a scene in a movie where there's a pizza put down on a table and a cowboy just goes, and he puts his foot on the table
And
and
then
goes,
drags it.
Zink? That'd be sick as hell.
That'd be so sick.
Well, you'd be like, I'm not eating those slices.
And then ranch shoots out the tip of his boot.
Oh, he has a gun. He has a gun of ranch.
Yeah, he has like a super soaker full of ranch.
Yeah, he slices it with his foot, and then he goes, and you go, thank you, pizza cowboy. And he goes, don't mention it. He has an Italian accent, but he looks like a hard cowboy.
A hard cowboy?
Like a hard cowboy. Like a
Nice.
dirty cowboy.
A nice dirty cowboy. Speaking of nice dirty cowboys, oh, we're having a crisp drink for Chappy Hour because it's Chappy Hour.
It is. Happy Chappy Hour, the only happy hour dedicated to the worst robot movie of all time that Julia has not seen. You should watch it while I'm gone.
No, the rules are that we established at the beginning of this podcast is I would only watch it if it's on a plane.
It would ruin your weekend. If I come back from this trip and you're just pale faced on the couch, I'm like, what happened to you? You're gonna be like,
too much Chappie.
I watched Chappie. It's gonna ruin everything. It's terrible.
Also, speaking of Chappie, there's so many things that can be called Chappie because we were talking about Dave Chappelle the other day, and someone
People call him Chappie?
Well, no, I call him Chappie because we were talking. I mean, I don't call him Chappie, but I want an excuse to call anybody
Do
Chappie.
you think he'd get mad to your face if you called him Dave Chappelle?
Chappelle.
Chappelle?
He'd be like, "Man, what?"
It's exactly what he would say.
But
Or he'd flick a cigarette at your forehead.
and then I'd eat it and I'd go, "Thank you, Chappie." No, apparently you were saying someone was saying he opened his own comedy club somewhere.
Yeah, Chappie's Dunktown.
And then we were saying, I'm like, what is it called? Chappie's? Because Chappelle's is going down to Chappie's.
I think he did. I saw a couple comics post they're like working with Chappelle because doesn't he live in like Ohio or some rural farm town?
I think so.
I think that's what
I have not
happened.
been keeping up with Chappie.
I don't follow a lot of his stuff. I haven't watched one of his specials and I actually think probably over 20 years.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, because I just don't watch specials. And as much as everyone's like, he's the GOAT, man. Everyone says he's the GOAT. We got to stop saying GOAT.
As my mother, Linda, said once, she's like, I don't like the term goat. Sounds too much like a goat.
It does.
And she's not wrong. Why? Not that no tea, no shade against goats, but if something's the greatest of all time and you're a goat, but then you look at a goat and you're like, I guess that thing's okay. It evokes too many things for me that are not synonymous with the greatest of all time.
You know what I say about goat? I say lamb. Let's all mind our business. Lamb.
Let's all mind our business. Yeah.
Lamb.
You know what I say? Pig for punk is God. That's my
Punk
motto.
is God.
Punk is God.
I used to be huge into punk. That was my genre of music in high school. I was like,
Really?
I love punk. But I was like, I liked Blink 182, and I'm like, they are punk. And now I love all punk.
You think Blink 182 is punk?
They were advertised as punk,
I feel like they're
they were in
punk light though.
but then you listen to like Sex Pistols, and you're like, oh,
Ow.
oh, my face. This is punk.
I feel like I had like a crush on like some punk. I kissed like a punk-ish boy at a party
We all
once.
kissed a punk boy
I
back
think he
in
had
the
like
day.
a lip ring and like dark like hair.
Yeah.
And then he called me after and he's like, do you want to hang out and go on a date? And I'm like, nah, I was drunk and I'm 16.
Yeah, and you're wearing the rim of a sock on your wrist like a bracelet. That's what the punks did. Didn't Avril do that? She wore like the white, those like stripe from the socks on the wrist. We were talking about this the other day because it was like talking about the 90s and stuff and like how that was like 30 years ago. Basically,
It's
like the
actually
90s.
disgusting.
The 90s are like 30 years ago, and I was like, I was running today just thinking about that. I'm like, 30 years ago were the 90s. That's why I think we are allowed to be obsessed with the internet and stuff like that.
Sure.
As much as like people that were raised by the internet are like all over it and they're like they should control themselves. But because we did not have it growing up and now we have it, we should be allowed to go buck wild. We should be first in line to go buck wild on things.
And listen, we have been going buck wild. Nobody's stopped. No, there's no internet man here being like, you better curb your internet usage. It's for my own like mental
They
health.
do that in Canada. Like when Rogers was like, you're using too much. That's why Canada, that's the one biggest thing with Canada.
And that's like, that would include like streaming things and like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Canada likes to throttle. But sometimes that's good because humans are stupid and like to just take.
Yeah, but
so
they charge so much.
I know.
I don't know. It does feel frivolous down here having unlimited data on your phone and unlimited high-speed internet at home. You don't even think about it. But it's
No.
the way the government gets into your house, man, and they monitor everything. That's why they don't want to throttle it. I'm actually fine with the government monitoring me. Keep an eye on me. Make sure I don't do anything weird. Not that I'm going to.
No, we're all fine.
In case I get like pushed in the back of a van and drove out to the desert, like yeah, keep an eye on me.
Yeah, but
That's what the government. The government. They should be advertising that. They should be like, listen, we are watching your every move. But say you get pushed in the back of a van, driven out to the desert.
Here's
We
the
got
thing:
you.
if you don't have your little Apple Watch on you, you don't have your phone. There's only so much they can do,
I keep-
unless the vaccine did put some sort of microchip in you.
Yes, but little do you know, I keep a spare phone inserted in my ass
Is
at all
it
times.
like a? Does it look like a lime because you limed in?
It does. It's surrounded by limes, so if doctors find it, they don't think it's weird. They go, "Oh, he's just got a bunch of limes up
Oh,
his ass."
he's just got several limes in
Taped
a perfect
together.
little circle around what appears to be none of my business.
Yeah, it's ringing, but it's probably just the limes.
It's probably just one of those ringing limes.
Yeah.
We are, by the way, chapping a delicious Sauvignon Blanc. It's Kim Crawford, a Marlborough. It's from Marlborough, New Zealand.
It's got cigarettes in it.
It's got cigarettes in it.
It's a wine made by cigarettes.
This used to be my favorite wine, my all-time favorite wine when I was like 20 and I was dating Brett and his mom liked it.
Name dropping.
Yeah.
It is like it tastes like a stay-at-home rich wife wine. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Or like a summertime, walking around your backyard wine. Shoes off, bare feet in the grass.
I don't know why. For me at this point, I think it's kind of like nostalgic. There's something about it that I just love Kim Crawford. There's like objectively better Sauvignon Blancs out there. But for the price point for what it is, I fucking love it.
You know what nostalgic drink makes me nostalgic?
What's that, Matt?
Cream soda.
Oh, yeah.
When's the last time you had a cream soda? I just thought about that right now. I was like, what is the taste of my childhood? And if I put a flavor to my childhood, I'd say cream soda.
I'd say Orange Crush.
But what is cream soda?
I don't know.
I don't know either. It's like creamed, but
It's
the can was
almost-
pink,
the
so
can
you're
was
like
pink.
it's kind of cotton candy.
It's kind of cotton candy, but like a hint of like Dr. Pepper, or it's like root beer without the bite.
It is. That's what it looks like when you pour it in a mug. It looks exactly like the beer in Simpsons.
Is that the color? It's not pink.
No, it's like dark.
It's like a light brown.
It looks like Duff beer. And when I was a kid, sometimes I'd watch The Simpsons and I'd have it in a mug and I'd be like, I'm drinking with Homer.
Wow.
I'm at
You know what?
Moe's.
My parents are right. The Simpsons were a bad influence.
Yeah. I wonder if that encouraged me to drink more because, well, Homer was a disaster, but he did like beer. You know what? The weirdest Simpsons episode with beer was when Bart shook up his beer on April Fool's.
Yeah.
And he opened it and it exploded his house. And remember
yeah.
that? And but then the beer was like flowing out of the roof. And then Chief Wiggum saw it and he's like, I'm pursuing on foot, call in a code, whatever. And they're like, we need pretzels, stat. And he was like, like running towards, but it's one beer. You're running towards the foam of one beer.
Yeah, but his fat ass doesn't know that.
But there's so much foam. It's not like there's a lot of beer coming out of the house. It's just one foamy beer. It bothered me even as a kid.
Listen, it's a cartoon. It's not real.
But I know that house has been destroyed so many times in The Simpsons.
Oh, yeah.
Like that, the roof blew off. And then the next scene, they're like, fine. I mean, Homer's in the hospital.
Also, literally across the way, all of a sudden there's a mansion and George Bush moves in. So listen.
But then, wait, who was the other president that moved in? Hello.
It wasn't Al Gore.
No, it was.
oh my God.
Damn it.
Do you like
football? Do you like nachos?
Oh God, what's his name?
Yes, Mr. President. Because he looks like Homer. It's not Hoover. It's
Ford?
Yeah, I think it's Ford.
Was it?
And let's just say that. I don't want to have to take time looking this up. Because there's probably listeners listening to this being like that maybe they're not big Simpsons people. If I were listening to a podcast and they were like nostalgically talking about Simpsons the way I am right now, I'd be pretty into it.
I'd love that. But some people don't like The Simpsons.
I know. It's odd.
Weird.
It is odd. The generation after us was not raised by it. It's not as near and dear. You know what is the generation below us versions of Simpsons is like SpongeBob SquarePants. People are obsessed with SpongeBob SquarePants, and I did not watch that as people.
I watched it on occasion, but if anything, I watched it more as like a young, like a teen/young 20s person, because I feel like every time I was in a hotel room, SpongeBob SquarePants would be on.
Yeah, I used to get high and watch it, but it would never stick in my brain as something I remembered.
Yeah.
I do like the look of those burgers and those Krabby Patties.
Oh yeah.
They look nice, but then you remember they're underwater and they probably taste all salty and wet.
But I did like the underwater vibes of that show.
I know. It's called Bikini Bottom too. I was like, saucy. There should be a pair of bikini bottoms that was the town hall, and then a giant pube is the mayor.
All right. That's enough of that.
It is a kids show, but that's The Simpsons to some. I don't know what The Simpsons is going to be for the latest generation, which is Zoomers.
There's Gen Z, and then what's below Gen Z?
Well, there's Gen X. There's millennials.
Yeah,
There's
Gen Z. And then
I think there's Zoomers.
Gen Z and then Zoomers?
I think it's Zoomers. I think Zoomers are the people the kids that are like, we had full high-speed internet our whole lives, and we're fucked as hell.
Ugh. Millennials.
What happened to Robbie Williams? I got a spam message. It was like
From
a scam.
Robbie Williams?
Yeah, do you remember that? Because sometimes I've been getting these weird scam messages where they're like, we have a podcast, and it's this very famous podcast. They use these names, and one was like, we want you to interview Robbie Williams with 10 people, and we will pay you $8,000. We'll pay you $8,000.
That's just obscure enough of a celebrity where
Yeah.
you're like, okay, like you could probably get this man on your podcast,
Yeah.
but you also don't know what he's doing right now.
But what's the scam? The scam is like, okay, first send us 2,000, and then after the interview, we'll send you the rest.
And one of Robbie Williams's fingers.
Wet underpants.
Oh, his underpants. You know what? Listen, I'm not going to try to make any kind of segue right now.
Are you going into the news? Because you always go awkwardly into the news. You're like, what's in the news this week? We need like a news bumper. Like
It's the news.
those always freaked me out. The fact that the news tempo, it's always like
Yeah, it really gets the heart beating.
and they're like, today in Toronto. Like, take it easy. Just
Yeah.
tell me the info.
Listen, I don't know what's in the news. Right before we started this podcast, we talked about something so groundbreaking a few days ago, and I was like, haha,
Maybe I should do the news noise so you...
I'm going to remember that for the podcast, and now it has left my little brain.
I don't know if anything weird or exciting happened this week. I mean, a lot of depressing news, of course.
Yes.
A lot of war and whatnot. Oh, the cheeseburger thing. We didn't talk about that.
Cheeseburger?
Remember I saw that article and they're like, turns out the cheeseburger was invented in Pasadena,
Oh, yeah.
which is, close to us. Also, what a bold statement.
Yeah, to be like, this area invented the cheeseburger.
And it's not like they're like, we invented like the burger. They're basically like, we were the first people to put cheese on this previously invented sandwich.
Oh.
So, and I think the guy they said his actual last name was like Burger or something. And I'm like, this sounds completely made up.
The man's name was Johnny
Chesburger.
Chesburgies.
Yeah, Chaz Burger invented the cheeseburger. But Pasadena, I think it's going on right now. They have like cheeseburger tours.
Yeah, isn't there like the Pasadena Burger Festival?
It's like the
and
burger
why are we not
walk.
at it right now?
I know. We honestly should go. But there's like burger deals all over Pasadena. And it just seems like such a stretch. Also, it's like a ritzy, like healthy kind of area. And they're like, but we invented the cheeseburger. Come up and do the burger walk.
We should just say we invented something. Like
We
in
have
Romeo and Michelle's
invented
high school
something.
reunion.
We've invented something. We just have to realize the thing that we invented. I think everyone has invented one thing, be it big or small. And you just have to be like, you have to figure out what it is. What do
Yeah.
you think you invented?
What do I think I invented? I don't know. Well, but I've said this before on this podcast, and I didn't invent it, but I have been making avocado toast since I was like a kid.
You think you invented it?
I don't think I invented it, but I
But
definitely
you were a pioneer.
Yeah, I definitely like
That's a safe way of saying you were one of the first.
helped pioneer the
You
movement.
pioneered it. Yeah.
I was obsessed with it, and especially when I was in college in res, like because I wouldn't even think about it. Like I was like, okay, I bought avocados at like No Frills, which for Americans is like equivalent to Smart and Final kind of thing.
Yeah.
And this is back in the day when avocados were cheaper. Anyway, and then I'd come home drunk from the bar, and I'm like, well, I have avocado, and I have bread, and I have salt and pepper. Better
Yeah.
mash this up and eat it. And I'm like, this is fucking good.
Maybe you did. Maybe someone saw you through a window and they were like, what's that little girl eating? That drunk little girl.
Well, that would be weird if they saw me through a window because I was on the 4th floor, and in the kitchen there was no windows.
They can get up there. If people are looking for weird food inventions, you'd be surprised how high they can climb.
What do you think you invented?
I think, talking about food stuff, I think I invented pouring vinegar on popcorn. I'm stamping that. I've been doing that since a kid. I was a kid. I always bring it up to people, and they're like, you just pour straight white vinegar on popcorn? I'm like, yes. And the bottom guys get soggy, and that's the best part.
I think
shake
it's
it around,
disgusting.
and then
You have a little spray bottle.
I have
now,
a spray
so
bottle
you missed
now.
it. So he's literally sitting with his friggin' full bag of popcorn, just misting it and eating it.
it's so good. Once we got that spray bottle, it's like an olive oil sprayer,
Yeah.
I think, originally. I remember looking at you being like, this is the height of luxury. This is like, people are like, what would you do with $1 million? And I point to this vinegar thing. I'm like, that's exactly what I do.
Yeah, get a vat of vinegar that literally costs 10 cents and
Yeah.
then spritz it on your garbage.
I'm a simple man. That's why I think I could survive in simple times, because I enjoy simple things. I like a can of beans, and I like spraying vinegar on popcorn.
It's strange.
I could live in a bunker, I think. I think I could live in a bunker.
No, you're too fidgety. I mean, if you had your little video games.
If
maybe.
I had a treadmill, some video games,
some vinegar, some
vinegar
ground
with
beef.
popcorn, and cans of beans.
Oh God, you would stink.
It would
That bunker would
stink.
stink. At least you could use the vinegar to like clean things.
Yeah, the radioactive, like a bomb would go off and the radioactivity would kind of dissipate, and then finally they'd find survivors. They'd open my vault, and then they'd be like, it smells more radioactive down there than it does in here.
Yeah.
It reeks, and they'd close it and then seal it up.
And
But
then
I'd be
like,
fine.
Yeah. Let's keep this fucking mole down here.
That'd be fine. Speaking of this, I mean, this has been in the news lately. Oh my God, I saw this one today. It's actually pretty wild and ominous. I checked multiple news sources because I'm like, there's no way this is real. And it was on like at least like 7 or 8 different news sources. But they said there's this lab that created a new version of they mutated COVID. I don't know why they're doing this. And they made it like more dangerous.
What?
I know. It was like almost funny to read because I'm like, there's no way. And then I read it on like 7 other different websites. And they're basically like, yeah, this one like almost instantly kills you.
Why would they do this? And who's okaying this?
I
And where are
don't
they
know.
making
It must be some process that they do with diseases, being like, how far can we push this?
Yeah, to see what destruction it could cause.
I don't know. But
Isn't this what happened in the first place? People were fucking around with.
We'll never know. We'll actually never know. But the world is a hell of a place, and I have said this many times. I think we should move to the woods and just live off solar energy.
I'm calling it the day we move to the woods. One of us is getting eaten by a bear. Like it's just.
Probably.
It's not.
Yeah, we'd set everything up, and you'd be like, "Can you get some kindling for the fire?" I'd be like, "Right away, milady." And then I'd step out. I'd peek my head out the door, and a bear would
just
eat my face.
Yeah, it would just literally bite your head off, and
Yeah.
I'd be like, "Well, shit."
But then you'd have a nice, quiet life without me stinking it up.
Oh, yeah, I guess.
You could still keep my body there if you got lonely.
Or what if I just befriend the bear and I train the bear to be my lover?
Wow, now that's the movie. The bear who ate your husband's face. That's the novel. That's the romance novel.
The bear
that
who
ate my
husband's
face. Little did they know they'd become lovers. Ew, you
Ew,
can
I'm not
become
gonna fuck
lovers
the
with
bear.
the bear. But he ate my face.
Does a bear have a penis?
Are you insane?
Yes. Have you ever seen a bear's penis?
How do you think bears reproduce?
I don't know.
You
But
think
like, what
they
does a bear penis
They have a
look
baggie
like?
of sperm, and they go, "Here you go. Can you please eat this and then make a bear baby?"
I don't know. I know, but I just
Male animals, for the most part, I'd say, have penises.
Yeah, but it doesn't look like a human penis.
Unless you're like, that would be terrifying. A bear with just a big old human penis. No, it definitely is characteristics of an animal.
I guess I haven't seen a lot of animal dicks. Sorry.
Remember on New Year's Eve, we saw that dog humping that bed and we saw its little chihuahua penis?
Oh God,
It
we
was
were all
terrifying.
just lit up, and then the dog started humping the bed a little bit, and then stopped, and then we were kind of laughing, and then I humped the bed to encourage him to hump the bed more, and then he started humping it more, and we were laughing.
You literally created a monster. It was the worst.
A little 5-pound chihuahua just humping the shit out of a bed.
One of the last things I saw in 2023 was a chihuahua's penis. That's what I'll remember from 2023 is I saw a penis, and I'd never been so happy to have a female chihuahua at home.
I know.
Don't have to worry about that penis poking out.
A little lipstick.
Yeah.
Ugh.
The Shanja's vagina is quite dominant, though. It really is. It's out there still.
First of all, it's a regular dog's vagina.
It looks like a lily pad.
But quit staring at our dog's
staring
vagina.
at it.
But
I've just
it is
seen it.
right there because she's short hair. So when she's standing and you're looking at her butt, you can see her little puss.
Yeah, most dogs you can't see it because they're hairy enough where it covers it
Yeah.
up. They got little pantaloons, as we'd say.
Yeah.
No
But
pantaloons.
She's puss out. Puss
That's why when she has no collar on, you're like, you look nude.
you're fully nude.
Fully nude dog.
Well, she's like a beige, sort of like tan fawn
Yeah.
color.
It's quite something to behold.
You know what else is quite something to behold?
What's
when
that?
things in our lives are warm and fuzzy.
Oh, like something nice that happened this week. That would
Yeah.
be nice to talk about. What the hell did happen this week? Do you want to lead with this?
Yes,
while
I would love to lead. I would love to lead. A few warm and fuzzy things happened. I feel like
my
I've been really
God.
like putting myself out there, and getting mine. And of course, a lot of the things I put myself out there for, nothing's happened. But whatever, you just suck it up and move on. However, I was like, I knew I wanted to perform more at the Improv, especially in the main room. Like
Yeah.
that was like my goal for 2024. And I just put that out there. And then I got asked to host the Sunday main room show this past Sunday. And it was such a great lineup. It was a sold out show. And I had the best time.
Yeah.
And you came and you watched. And yeah, it was just one of those shows that I was like, hell yeah, this is why I do this. This is so fun. Like, and I know a lot of people are like weird about hosting. I'm like, I don't give a shit. And I'm like, I'm a good host. I kept the comedy train rolling.
That's right.
And it was genuinely so nice. And also some of the servers there are people we've known for a long time. And it was just like, I don't know, felt like a little bit like a little full circle moment. And,
Yeah.
and you know, when you just feel like you're like, I belong here. And I'm like, I know I did a really good job. And the sound guy was like, that was amazing. And obviously like the sound, by the way, comedians, if you're listening to this, always be nice to the sound people.
Always be nice to the sound
I mean, be
people.
nice to everybody, but like,
sound guys especially.
because they're the ones watching the show, and often the bookers, if they can't be there, will ask them to relay information,
That's right.
right? So because one of the other servers was like, oh yeah, like I see like the notes when you do like the lab, which is like the smaller room there, and the sound guys are always saying you're doing great and whatever. I'm like, oh gosh, I wasn't even thinking about
Didn't even
that.
think they watched.
So
Yeah.
so always be nice. And then I got asked again by the booker. She's like, I heard Sunday was amazing. Do you want to host the Saturday main room show? So I'm hosting
Hell yeah.
Saturday now at the Hollywood Improv, and I'm pretty jazzed.
Pretty jazz. Makes you feel pretty good, I imagine.
Yeah, it's quite nice, I
Yeah.
would say. And that's pretty warm and fuzzy for me. And I do have a second beat of warm and fuzzy, but let's go to you first. Over to
Oh
you,
my
Matt.
God. I mean, mine's also career based, but I filmed a commercial over 2 years ago. Over
Oh yeah.
2 years ago. Crazy. And it has not aired. And I've been getting little hold checks being like, which basically in the industry, it's like you get these hold checks to not go out for the same type of product of that commercial. So you're like, okay, it's going to air eventually. I've been literally waiting 2 years, and I finally got a call from my agent. Was this yesterday?
2 days ago.
2 days ago. And they're like, here's there's a new contract. Here's the money you're getting. And it is going to air finally. So it is finally going to air. I am finally going to make money. And if you know commercials, it's like, that's when you make the money, is when it finally goes to air.
Yeah.
You literally, if you film a commercial, it doesn't air, you're like, oh, I got $1,500.
Yeah,
which
if
is
it's
fine,
if
but-
it's SAG, and then with non-union you get a buyout, and it's
Yeah.
shit.
But union commercials, you're like, we need them sweet little residues.
We need
We
them
love those
residues.
residues. So that was a very nice call to get. Just a nice little couple of nickels in my pocket from that hard work.
Yeah, because it has been an interesting time. I know everybody's been going through it financially. I mean, maybe some of you are really killing it, and good for you. But yeah, it is nice to know that the work that you did a while, or the money that you were depending on, is finally, coming through.
Also, I did have to cover myself in mud for the commercial, like cold, thick, like 2 inches of mud.
I remember when you came home, you're like, I can't get warm. You're like, I'm literally chilled to the bone.
I had hypothermia, I think. I guarantee I had something. I was scrubbing mud off myself for days. And and then it didn't air. I'm like, all that for nothing. All that mud. You'll see the commercial, listener, when it comes out. I'm going to post a link to it. And you're going to be like, man, that guy really worked hard for his money.
Yeah. So hard for money.
You cover yourself in mud because you want to be the best.
Yeah. And you know what? I'm going to save my other warm and fuzzy for next week.
Save it for next week.
Yeah. And I guess we'll talk about something stupid.
Sure. Something dumb that happened this week, because there's got to be a yin to the yang, or vice versa. Well,
that was stupid.
What's something dumb that happened this week? What?
Here's
We might have the
something
same
kinda
one.
dumb.
Maybe we'll have the same one.
I mean, I don't know, but we went for a nice dinner with friends the other day, and here's the thing: every time you go to restaurants, like often, yeah, if I'm going out with friends a lot, or if it's like not a super expensive meal, I'm like, I'll grab this one, you grab the next, whatever. I was a server before, I get it, but when we got to this place, I asked, I'm like, hey, just, is it possible to do separate checks? Not even like for everybody. I'm like, just this one couple on this one, the other one on this one. Because yeah, I could pay for it all and then someone could Venmo me, but then for tax write-offs, it's just easier. And he's like, yeah, no problem. I'll make sure that happens. I'll let your server know. And then when it came time to pay, the server was like, it got so confusing.
They always make it weird.
And then they make it feel like
Can we split the check? I don't. What do you mean you don't? It's on the computer. Shut up.
It's so much. I know it's a little bit more work for the server, but it is so much more work for the customer to then do fucking. They don't have the computer. I'm like, let me do it. Give me your system. And I even like the fact that I asked before, and then the guy saw it. He's like, oh no, I'll do that for you guys quickly. And I'm like, okay. And I had to be like, I'm sorry, we're not these people. And it was something they auto-graded 20% anyway. I'm like, you're getting your money, and it's not. I don't know. It's just so
stupid.
It's so stupid. It's just, and maybe people are like, oh, the POS systems in the States are different than the ones in Canada, whatever. Then why aren't people updating their POS systems? Like, how is it so
Click
hard?
on the item, separate it. Like, even when I worked at Red Lobster, it was so easy. And that was early 2000s. You click on something, you go, create a new check, and then that's it. And you got multiple checks.
I don't know. It would just kind of just puts like, it makes you feel like, oh God, is this going to be okay?
Well, here's the thing. If it is difficult for them, it's not your fault. It's not their fault. It's the management fault. And they should be like, this is difficult every time. Can we fix this POS system?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
That's exactly it.
But then when the guy saw that she was struggling, he's like, oh no, I'll do that for you. Then no problem. I'm like, okay. It's just stupid. I want to, like, don't get me wrong. I wish I could go out and just get the whole check for everybody, but I ain't a baller like that.
Ain't a baller, she says. Speaking of balling, I mean, this kind of stupid thing happened. We've been getting solicitors at our door this week. Jehovah's Witness has been passing us by. We know, if you've been listening to previous episodes, I have been having a thing with the Jehovah's Witnesses, and they clearly have made a note to not come back. Mm-hmm. So I have one. That being said, these solar panel guys are really swarming the neighborhood. We had one today, but there was one yesterday. A pair came up, And
by the way, it was like 6:05. It was peak
after
dinner
6,
time.
Peak dinner time. Could be sitting down to a nice roast. That's when they get you. And we weren't home, but on the Ring cam, I saw that they rang the Ring cam and then also banged on the door.
Yeah.
Crazy
And the
move.
dog's already going absolutely crazy. We can hear her, and they're banging on our door.
Yeah, so it was a ding dong, bang, 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 bang. And I'm like, if I was there, I would have gone fucking crazy. First of all, you sound like the cops when it's a ring and a bang like that.
And it's because it's a bang on one of those like metal screen doors.
Yeah, so it sounds like in a movie when the cops are like coming to interrogate.
It's the
some
police,
thug.
open up.
Yeah, and it just blew my mind. I'm like, first of all, you're coming to my house to try to sell me something. You should be at your best. You should be at the least annoying. It's crazy. It's crazy that even happens. That people are going door to door trying to sell things. I'm like, you're literally spam email.
Yeah.
You are a piece of spam email as a person.
Up close and personal.
Up close and personal.
And then, like on our Ring cam, you can talk to them. So Matt's like, "Hi, please leave. We're not interested." And they're like, "What?" And Matt's like, "Please leave." And they're like, "Okay, but what?" And then the dog's going crazy, and he's like, "Get off the property."
I go, get off the property
now.
now. And then they go, okay, have a good night. Like giggling. I'm like, you fucking two Zoomers. They're two Zoomers.
I don't think they were Zoomers.
I think they were Zoomers.
millennials.
I don't know. But either way, if they come back, I'm smacking them. Can you smack somebody on your property? I
No,
think you
we'll
might
just
be
get
able
a
to.
no solicitors sign. Because
Maybe
it's
pepper
just
spray.
And then we saw another guy today, and he was going door to door. And of course, we're walking the dog as this is happening, and everybody has a dog, and every dog's going crazy, and like nobody's home. Like, just get out of here.
What if I go out with a handful of freshly ground pepper, and when they start talking, I go, whew, and
Matt, these are just nice people trying to do their job, trying to earn a little bit of money.
But there's such a risk when you go on someone's property, especially in the United States. The laws
Yeah, and you can't
are
literally
crazy.
pepper somebody.
I could blow pepper at someone's face. I'm not pepper spraying. I'm pepper blowing. A light pepper
pepper
blow.
blowing.
A dandelion pepper blow in the face. And if they're like, he assaulted me, I'm like, I was cooking. And I thought you were a roast.
Yeah, you could do that. Listen, I get it. Sometimes if if that's your job, fine, ring my doorbell, but don't ring my doorbell
And bang my
and
door.
bang on my door when clearly nobody's coming to the door and a dog's going crazy and you're being asked to
Yeah.
leave.
Pick one. Pick it.
Yeah.
One or the other. Speaking of one or the other, we're going to one or the other get out of here.
Yeah, we're going to get out of here because your girl has a show tonight.
Yes, your girl, my girl, you're my girl.
I'm your girl.
Where can they find you online if they
You
want
can
to see your
find
things?
me, Julia Comedy on Instagram, Julia Comedian on Facebook. Is This What You Want podcast on Instagram. Matt, where can they find you?
Just Matt O'Brien on Instagram. That's where I'm putting my full focus. 44,000 followers now.
I know you're creeping in on me. I'm
getting there.
47.2.
Everyone's like, social media doesn't mean anything, man. I'm like, well, it doesn't until you hit 100,000. And once I hit 100,000, then I'm going to relax a bit. I'm going to be like, that's it.
I gotta beat you, but you're beating me. You have because you're better at like engaging.
I just put weird emojis. I just do like the hang 10. Someone's like, says something, and I'm just like, bleh.
I do that too. I do the hang 10 a lot.
Yeah.
And I do the blah one with the tongue out. And
I
also
do the crunched up, the weird drunk face where he's like, "Grr," and then bleh.
Yeah, I do that too. And I also
Yeah.
do that like red devil looking thing.
Yeah, that one's yours.
Yeah, I
Red
like that
Devil
guy.
is pure you. So we'll be back next week. I'm sure of it. Before Julia goes off to Seattle. Look at us, two touring comedians. This is what you're getting with this podcast. Thank you so much for listening. We'll be back next week.
Good night.
Bye.
Is this what you want with Matt and Julia? Is this what you want with Matt and Julia? Is this what you want?